Everyone will have eyes on it and they'll try to destroy it. If you have something valuable, what do you have to do? You have to protect it. Something that is valuable in Islam, you have to protect it. It's not only in Islam, in the world. So if you have something valuable, which is your faith, you have to protect it. It is not a guarantee. We are not like those ones, oh, I'm saved. I just accept with your heart, I'm saved. And his blood is going to redeem us, and we go straight to paradise. What kind of foolishness is that? We bring the fire to hell. There's no fire in hell. We bring the fire to Jahannam. Paradise is empty. We built the paradise. So the faith that we have does not enter into love. Faith that we have, it has to be protected. It cannot be taken for granted. That's why we're making zikr. Because Prophet ﷺ is saying, "O my nation, renew your shahadat." Because your shahadat gets old, it gets corrupt, it gets broken, so you have to renew it. That's why we are making the shahadat over and over again. And only shaitans are going to stop us from saying the shahadat, from saying La ilaha illallah, from giving praises to the Prophet ﷺ. They're saying this is bid'at. The whole aim of 124,000 prophets is for mankind to say La ilaha illallah. So now you have to protect that. You don't take it for granted. We're Muslims. We don't take it for granted. Say, well, are you Muslim? Alhamdulillah. I'm going to go to Jannat. No. Like I said, Jannat is empty. What are you going to bring there to Jannat? Hell is empty. You're going to bring your own fire there to hell. So you have to protect it. Your faith you have to protect. We're following a shaykh. We have a love for our shaykh. We have to protect it. We cannot take it for granted. Anything that has value, it has to be protected. And anything that has value, you have to, time and time again, you have to take a look at it and you have to test it. You have to see whether the value is still there or not. Isn't it? There has to be a gauge. Especially, like I said before, so many people say, oh, I love you, Shaykh, I love you, Shaykh, I love you, Shaykh. And later, they change their minds. I love you, Shaykh, I'm going to die for you. And they're still alive. And they're gone. They're no longer there. So, be careful. This is yesterday's Sohbet, isn't it? Isn't it? Be careful what you say. Be careful what you claim. Be careful what witnesses you have around you to say, yes, I'm ready to take any order. Then the order is given. And you say, well, you know, I cannot because of this, because of that. This is yesterday's Sohbet that we gave. So, but you have to protect it now. If you don't protect it, it will be harmed. If you don't protect it, it will get corrupt. Because you take one step in the way of Allah, there are 70,000 shaitans waiting for you. Now if you say, I'm going to love an awliya Allah, you think your ego is not going to go crazy? You think shaitan is not going to go crazy? You think the ego is not going to go crazy? You think dunya is not going to go crazy? They're all going to go crazy. They're going to try very hard to stop you from having that love, or keeping that love, or making that love to grow. Because it's easy to say, it's easy to claim. But man is tied up. In the judgment day, so many will come, and their tongues are going to be circling around their neck. They are choked by their tongue. They are dragged by their tongue because they say, they claim, but they don't mean it. They claim, but there is no proof of that. They claim, but they do the opposite. And you say, You have witnesses, it's even more difficult now that time. So now, what do we take lesson from that incident? Take lesson that whatever we feel, which is good. I'm not stopping anyone from saying, I love you, Shaykh Effendi. I'm not stopping anyone to say, I love Allah and I love the Prophet ﷺ. But check yourself to see whether that claim is true or not. If you don't, it's just empty words. Then that time you're not a believer. You become what? Someone who changes his mind, changes his heart whenever he feels like it. There's a word for that. That is called a munafiq. May Allah protect us from that. And yes, we're in tariqat to make our faith a reality, not just something that we claim, to live, to experience that. To experience La ilaha illallah, not just to say La ilaha illallah, to experience there is no ilah except for Allah. You understand now? The shahadat is not saying Allah, La ilaha. It says La ilaha illallah. And the Naqshbandi way, we don't say Allah first. We get rid of the ilahs before we do. You understand? We concentrate on the ilahs that is false. We don't have to concentrate on Allah. How are you going to concentrate to get rid of the ilahs? That is what sohbet is. That is what a shaykh is. That is what understanding what the enemies, your enemies, the dunya, shaitan, hawa, nafs, these are the ilahs. Anger, jealousy, stubbornness, and arrogance, these are the ilahs. What are the ilahs? What are the gods that you put in your heart, that you are busy with, that you're obsessed with, that you have no time to think about your Lord? Get rid of that. La ilaha. Then illallah. So this tariqat is to realize and experience the shahada. How are we going to do that? Not through your own way or my way or anyone's way, but through the way of the Prophet ﷺ. And that's the second part of the shahada. If you are going to try to get rid of your ilahs using any other method, is not accepted. You understand? So many people also speak about the egos, correct? So many different traditions also speak about the egos. That is true. But now the best way, and the only way that is accepted in the divine presence, that is the most perfect way, is the way of the Prophet ﷺ, the most perfect human being and the most perfect prophet, the most perfect example. That you take his example, then that time you will realize how to get rid of your ilahs, and you will then, that time, put Allah in your heart. So protect your faith. First, understand what are the enemies. Then build your defenses according to that. If you don't understand your enemies, and you're just building a fortress, without understanding who the enemies are, that fortress may not be relevant to who the enemy is. You think the enemy is going to be 100 people, so you're building a fortress to protect, but the enemy is coming with 10,000. You put a protection. Protection means nothing now. So you have to understand who you're dealing with. You have to understand that. You have to understand who you're dealing with. And we're here to understand the greatest enemy is the nafs, our nafs, yours and mine. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in us, and how for us to put that nafs under our feet, to control that nafs. That is what sohbet, that is what association, that is what being with the shaykh is important. Because you don't know, you don't realize. You think it is just a habit, but it is coming from your nafs, and it's a bad habit. You are stuck now. Because you're not looking at the example of the Prophet ﷺ. You're looking at the example of the Prophet ﷺ through your own eyes. Don't look through your own eyes. Look through the eyes of your Shaykh. That's the time you're going to see. If you use your own eyes, why you follow a Shaykh then? Why you follow? We don't want to use our own eyes. We don't want to use our own tongue. We don't want to use our own hands. You know where I'm going with this? Yes. You don't want to use your own feet. You want to use the eyes and the tongue and the hands and the feet of your Shaykh, of the Prophet of Allah. Oh, Hoja is talking about shirk. This is Hadith Qudsi, bruh. Empty heads. When you come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by what? Doing things that are not obligations. He didn't put order to you, but your own spirit is saying, I have to do it. Are you placing some restrictions on yourself? You're placing some burdens on yourself. You're placing some strictness to yourself, because anything that is worth having requires discipline. Anything that is valuable, you have to put strictness, you have to put discipline, you have to put heaviness, some burden in it in order to get it, no? Easy come, easy go. So when you do that, Allah is saying, my servant then draws near to me. When he draws near to me, I will become his eyes that he sees, his tongue that he speaks, his hands that he touches, his feet that he walks with. I will dress him with Rabbaniyat. He will be Rabbani. Then that time, if your will, you have surrendered to the will of Allah, and Allah then says, my will has replaced his will, then that time, yes, you act with the will of Allah and things can happen. Things will happen. Understand? This is open to everyone. But there is a price. So, we take lesson from that. Don't take your faith for granted. Don't take your love for tariqat for granted. Don't take this tariqat. Don't take nothing for granted. Don't take your shaykh for granted. Protect it. Protect it like it will be stolen from you at any time. And look out for the enemy within that is going to sabotage, that is going to hurt that love. The shaykh is nice to you, everything is good, everything is fine, you are happy, but once he squeezes you a little bit because of your own fault, then your heart starts changing. He squeezes you more, then you start hating. He squeezes you more, then that time you betray. Shaykh is not our friend, he's not a buddy. He trains you. He washes you up. He cleans you. Alhamdulillah, we have found that Shaykh. And he is with us. May Allah bless him and bless our grand Shaykh, and may they send their support to us until we die. May Allah forgive me and bless you. Al-Fatiha. Amin. Assalamu alaikum. Understand? All right. Any questions? If you have some questions, you can say. What are you waiting for?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Lokman Efendi was saying in the khutbah that 1430 years ago, the Najdi tribes attacked the Prophet ﷺ. Today, the Najdis are planning to do the same, attack the blessed grave. Will they succeed?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. They have already attacked. And they are planning to attack the Rawza Sharif. They will not succeed. Not to worry. They have been planning, stop now. They have been planning to do that ever since the Khilafat fell. That's why the Khalifa is the one who is protecting the nation and protecting the holiness and the greatness and the majesty and the sanctity of Islam. Once you remove the Khalifa, who removed the Khalifa? We removed the Khalifa. We're saying this is old style. I don't want old style. I want new style democracy. I want new style nationalism. I want to decide for myself what I want. Well, you have to decide for me. Who are you? Who is the Khalifa? The Khalifa is a shadow of Allah on earth. Who is he? He is a representative of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Who is he? He is the one, if he is not there 3 days, there is no Islam. That's why there is no Islam now. Just Muslims, individuals, praying, doing something, but Islam is not ruling. There is no empire. And there is no protection. From that time until today, wars have been happening non-stop. Oppression is everywhere. Everything became a war zone. Oh, Ottomans ruled all those areas there for hundreds of years. What happened? There was suicide bombers. There was genocide every single day. There were people eating each other. They were keeping the peace. And they were keeping everyone to be able to practice their own faith, their own traditions, and their own religions. Traditional enemies for hundreds of years, they say, sit down, talk to each other, work with each other, build something for the sake of humanity, and they did. But enemies from outside and from the inside has to come to make fitna and confusion, to say, no, you are enemies. Why are you sitting down with them? You have to fight. So now all Muslims first, they start fighting with each other. Huh? Once they achieve independence, they start fighting with each other. Iran with Iraq, 8 years, boom. Once they got rid of the old system, we're not praising that one too. But we're saying at least Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving blessings to what the system of kingship. Pakistan and Bangladesh start fighting with each other. Muslim and Muslim. Muslims start fighting with each other. And Kafirs ruling over them until today, pulling the strings. So, they've been trying to do that for a long time. They will not succeed, inshallah rahman. Allah is a protector, not us. But at the same time, the whole nation is being punished because of that. The whole nation is being punished because we don't want the Khalifa. And the whole nation is being punished today because we're sitting still and not doing anything while all this desecration, all this destruction is happening to all the tombs and all the friends of Allah and all of the prophets of Allah. And Muslims are sitting down. We may say, because we are nobodies, to say our hands are tied, Ya Rabbi, on Judgment Day. But where are our Muslim leaders? Where are our sheikhs? Where are our scholars? They're being busy with moon sighting. They're being busy deciding when is Eid and when is not Eid. They're being busy with saying, no, that chair is mine, no, that chair is mine. They're being busy with looking at titles. They're being busy with economic forums. They're being busy with things that does not concern the ummah, putting the ummah more into confusion and fitna. Hazrat Mahdi alayhi salam is going to come and he's going to cut off the necks of 70,000 scholars in the Akhir Zaman, and we are in the Akhir of the Akhir Zaman. You want to run to become a scholar? Go ahead. So, we are responsible, at least first, to understand that, to know, to sit somewhere and say Astaghfirullah. Then you find somewhere where they're speaking about such matters, go, spend some time with them. Because the whole nation stumbled and fell down a cliff. We have to know where we stumbled. But nobody is talking where you stumbled. Yeah, we stumbled because we say we don't want the Prophet. We don't want the Khalifa representing the Prophet. We don't want the system of Islam. We want secular system. We want nationalism, tribalism. We don't want ummat. We don't want an empire. No, everyone is being played. It's finished. Until Mahdi alayhi salam comes, until the Ottomans are restored, inshallah, may it be soon, until our Sheikh comes back, this is going to continue. Yeah. And may Allah protect the believers and those who have sincerity. And we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring back the Sultan soon. Fatiha. As much as enough. Quickly again.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What is Hazrat Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu's connection to Sahib al-Sayf?
Alhamdulillah. Shukr. Yes. Khalid bin Walid is also one of the Sahabis that are given the title of the owner of the sword. And the meaning of the owner of the sword is very great. It has many meanings to that. Although some jealous ones trying to bring it down and to say, well, anyone can own a sword. So anyone is an owner of a sword. So if I go to Chinatown and I buy a fake sword, I'm also owner of the sword. To that one, coming from kafir background, of course you can say such things. The Sahib al-Sayf is the title of the Prophet ﷺ. You want to degrade that? Go ahead. Kufr still haven't left your heart. You read Dalil Sharif, Dalil Hayrat, one of the titles of the Prophet ﷺ, Sahib al-Sayf. So, that title has been given to our Shaykh for these times. That title may be occupied by others too, 1400 years ago, the great ones. Like who? Hazrat Ali. He is also the owner of the sword. Hazrat Umar al-Faruq, that he took his sword. Where is the sword? People get very nervous when I take out the sword. The sword is a beautiful thing. Look. Owner of the sword. I don't own this sword. I'm just holding it until the owner comes back to take it. Yes, definitely. This is just an amanat that we're having. They're very afraid of it. So, the connection is great. If you know who Khalid ibn Walid is, if you understand Umar al-Faruq, if you understand Hazrat Ali, if you understand Hazrat Ali al-Murtaza, then you understand the job of Sahib al-Sayf and how all these ones will come back at the end for the great war to fight against evil and Dajjal. This is not going to be a war between Muslims and Christians or Muslims and Jews or no. It's a war between believers and unbelievers, because there are believers in other religions, in other faiths, and there are unbelievers who call themselves Muslims. Assalamu alaikum. This much I can say. Not enough.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Many people say they go through phases when they have strong connections with Sheikh and then it goes away and it goes on and off. I used to go through this, but now my connection is calm from a long time now. Is this something good or not?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I had this conversation yesterday. You see, if you say you love your Sheikh, or let's just, easy example, you say you fall in love. Yeah? The love of a 16-year-old when you are 16 is different. When you are 20 is different. The love when you are 25, when you are married is different. The love when you have a honeymoon is different. The love after the honeymoon is different. The love when you're 40 is different. The love when you are 70 years old is different, isn't it? Now, are you going to sit here to say, no, 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 the purest love is when we're 16 and we knew nothing? No, that is the most what? Ignorant love. That is the most childish love. It just feels good, but it doesn't come with what? Reality. Isn't it? Once that reality hits, then that love is going to be tested. Yes, what did the poet say? You putty don't remember. I never knew what love is until I fell in love with you. One poet is saying. And I never knew what a liar I was until I fell in love with you. You understand? So your idea then changes. The phases must change. You have a strong connection, is a spiritual connection, whatever, emotional connection, whatever. You have a connection, very good. What are you doing with that connection? The wise person, a person with intelligence, must know what to do with that. You have knowledge, what are you going to do with it? You have things, what are you going to do with it? You have money, what are you going to do with it? You have a connection, what are you going to do with it? Is it so important? And is it just that, to say I have a connection, so you just put a connection there? Huh? Why you connect to the wall socket? Why you connect electricity to get it from the wall socket? For what? For something, isn't it? At least for a light or hair dryer or oven, electric oven. Something, meaning you're going to use it for something. So now, if you say that phase is finished or it's calmed down where I have a connection, now it is to make you unstuck from that level there, just to have a honeymoon period kind of feeling, to say, now I have a connection, but what am I doing with this connection? That's the time you suddenly wake up and you say, oh, let me then serve my Shaykh. Let me then try to do what he is doing. Not to help him so much, but let me now involve myself in his mission. Sahabe-i Kiram, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu an, the one who has the most connection to the Prophet alayhi wasalam. So many people are going to get upset with me now if I say that. I say, no, Ali is this. He didn't just have a connection and say, I have a connection. He disconnected himself from the whole world and he took everything that has connection to him to be connected to the Prophet ﷺ. So all Sahabis also they did that. Take those ones down. I already said, Sohbet, bring them down. Akal says individuals. So, you have a connection. What are you going to do with that now? It's important to say. It's calmed down. Now is the time for you to be more connected, to be more useful. Because 124,000 Sahabis, they did something with the Prophet ﷺ. They did not just say, I have a connection. They did something. So, don't worry about it. That time, when you're actually doing something to spread the teachings of your Shaykh, trying to do something, putting his sohbet into your life, taking that light and shining it around you, that others will see that light and it will help them too. That time, it's not so important now, that emotional connection. It's not. It's not about how good you're going to feel. It's about how good your Shaykh is going to feel of the work that you're doing for him. And always, you're going to please that one. Always, you're going to please him. That will teach us how to what? Please Allah. How to make Allah to be pleased with us. So that time you move to a different. So many people, they're stuck. Oh, love, tariqat, Sufism, love, 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 love. They're stuck. A little bit of sacrifice, they say, no, why I have to sacrifice? This is not love. Love is wonderful. Love is not pain, not sacrifice. This much is enough. Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What is your advice for murids who lives very far from Dargah? How to prepare us for the heavy days are coming soon?
Keep your connection to your Shaykh. How to keep connection? Listen to my earlier Sohbet. And seriously, keep strong connection to your Shaykh. Put his Sohbet into your life strongly. You'll be very busy that time once you try doing that, because it's not a very easy thing to do. Okay? That time when the heavy days they come, because that nur that you are taking from his Sohbet, that nur will protect you. Where there is nur, the nar cannot enter. Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the past, I said some very wrong things to a person, and after a couple of years, I met him again, but he became the wrongful things that I said to him. I think I made a huge mistake. How do I fix this mistake?
You mean you were like a magician? You may turn him to become like that? No, it's not you. Yeah. Maybe you had an idea that he was going to be like that. You made a huge mistake. Well, you shouldn't have said wrong things to that person. Maybe. And say wrong things to people. But if that person then later you see has become like that, pray for him. Don't curse him. Don't curse people. Pray for them. Take that as a lesson now for yourself. Take that as a lesson for yourself, that you have to be careful about what you say. In reality, everything that we say, it is a prayer. It is a prayer. It is a dua. Who is to say only when you do it like this, Allah is going to listen? That you just speak like this, Allah is not listening. Allah is listening to everything. He's all hearing. So be careful. This is moving into the territory of adab in tariqat, that so many people, they don't believe and they cannot carry it. And Muslims have lost this tradition too. So, fix it with yourself first. Take it as a lesson for you. And pray for that one, inshallah, that he turns around. Maybe you should go to that person and say, you holy person, you good person. Then maybe next time you meet him, he's going to be holy and good. Assalamu alaikum. Tamam. Bashka.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Why we kiss hands? I also like when I kiss somebody's hand to show respect. What is the importance of hands?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We kiss the hands as a show of respect because the Sahabis kissed the Prophet's hands. There's so many meanings to it. You're bending down, you're kissing the hand. The idea, again, is not other kinds, Western style. Kiss the hand, they pick up the hand and they kiss like this. No, in Islam, you bend down to kiss the hand of your sheikh, of your father, of your mother, of a holy person, of an older person. Meaning you put yourself down. And the meaning of that is also pretty heavy, because what you're doing is you are bending down, you're bowing down. It is a kind of sajda that you are making. Understand? So, now you kiss the hands, that is important. I already said this so many times. You're cutting off so many times. Prophet ﷺ allowed his Sahabis to kiss his hands and his feet. And the Sahabis were kissing each other's hands out of love and respect. And some they were kissing the feet of the other older Sahabis. Some prophets, Their parents make sujud to them, make sajda to them. And their brothers, family make sajda to them. Not just kissing hands, they make sajda, they make sujud to them. Who is this? Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. It's in the Quran, you cannot deny that. The parents make sajda to him. What Wahhabi is going to do with this ayat? Saying that they make shirk? You're saying the father and the mother, who are prophets, by the way, also, and their brothers, who are also prophets, make shirk. What idiots they are. Huh? No brain people. That's why they have no brains and they want to destroy the tomb of the Prophet. What is your business with that? Squareheads. So now, the meaning of that sujud now, that sajda, it must mean something different, correct? When you make sujud to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we don't make sujud to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we make sajda there, are we saying Allah is in front? Be careful. Because in our Aqidah too, if you put a place to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's no good, right? Allah is beyond all place and all time. And people from outside, they're going to say, Muslims, they make prostration to a black stone. Because it looks like that. We are making prostration. They don't see Allah. And if you say, no, Allah is in the Kaaba, hasha, astaghfirullah. That's even worse, right? So now, that prostration has different meaning now. One is for respect. By the way, scholars have dealt with this. This is more of a fiqh question. Scholars have dealt with this for over 1,000 years. And if you want all the fancy Arabic terminologies, you may go to them. Over here, we speak very simple language, simple English. There's a bowing down, the ruku or the sujud of respect. And there's a bowing down and the sujud of prayer, of worship. And if you mix the two, it becomes haram. If you don't mix the two, then there is a precedent for this. There is a sunnat for this. So, it is a sign of respect now. Highest respect. And why are you not putting it? It's off tonight. So we're doing it because it is a very big sunnat. And it teaches man respect. And if you don't have respect, if you don't have adab, you may have the best of the knowledge, but you're lost. And you are in complete you fall into Jahannam. Because shaitan has all the knowledge, but he doesn't have respect. He lost his manners. And he's carrying Jahannam inside of him. So, it is important to do, but you don't kiss everyone's hands. You kiss those ones who are respectful, who are older, much older than you, those ones who have more authority. It's okay to do that. Of course, the hands is a very, very important thing in Islam. It's one of the things that in the Quran Kareem is saying, Allah, the hands of Allah, the hand of Allah is on them. But don't be like Wahhabi shaitans who's going to say that Allah has a form. Hasha, astaghfirullah. Allah has a face, He has a hand, He has feet, and He sits down. And some, they even draw a picture. You know that? Like Yahudis, they do that. Complete. That is wrong. I'm not going to use the word shirk, but that is wrong. But in the hands itself, there's so many secrets to that. Well, especially important The hands and the face. That's why in Islam, it is forbidden for the face to be hit. Because the face, it is holy. It is where your identity is. Okay? So, everything is written there. The names of Allah are there. So many other things. Just keep it holy. Wash your hands first. The one who's asking the question, are you washing your hands often? No. Then why are you asking this? Huh? Are you making wudu? Keeping your wudu 24 hours? No. Then why are you asking this? And when you're washing your hands, what are you reciting? So, inshallah Rahman, may we come close to Allah, and may we give the will of our hands to Him, yeah? So that the hands will become a tool for His will. Fatiha. Amin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I was not a Muslim before, but now I'm trying to be a Muslim. I cannot keep my heart and mind still when I saw people who says they are Muslim but doing bad and crucial things to other creatures. Also, some people are cruel to other human beings just because they are not Muslim.
And what is your question? Okay. You see, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In Islam, the shahadat, the prayers, the fasting, the zakat, the hajj, meaning all the external actions that defines you as a Muslim, are actions that define you as a Muslim, that can make you into a better person only if your heart is good. If your heart is not good, you can be saying the shahadat 24 hours. You can be praying 24 hours. You can be fasting whole year round. You can be giving everything for zakat. You can be living inside the Kaaba. If your heart is not good, it means nothing. In fact, all of that will make you to do very bad things because you think that you are on the right way. So everything now comes back to the heart. The shahadat is not a magic word that you say, suddenly everything is going to change. It is not like some other dogmas in some other religions say, just accept that His blood redeem us and you're newly born. But you still find yourself doing the same old stuff over and over again. Nothing has really changed. So Islam is teaching us the responsibility now is in your hands. It is up to you. It is a very adult, a very mature religion. Now you have to change. And no one is going to change you except for you. If you don't want to change yourself, no one can change you. But if you want to change yourself, that time Allah is saying, you take one step to me, I will take 10 steps to you. You come to me walking, I will run to you. And tariqat is teaching us that. Yes, you're praying, you're fasting, you're doing all these things. But now, it's time for you to clean your heart. There is an organ in the body, Holy Prophet ﷺ said. If it is good, the whole body is good. If it is bad, the whole body is bad. And that is the heart. So now, the key is how to purify that heart. Before you start to, you purify something by doing what? Getting rid of all the impurities. That's how you make it pure. So Sufism, Tariqat, Tasawwuf is to concentrate on finding out and looking at all the impurities of your heart and getting rid of it. Wake up. Don't sleep. Because you're sleeping too much. And we see all the impurities circling around, shaitan playing tricks with you. And we can see it in your face. You fall into a stupor. In the Sohbet, you are somewhere else. The heart is somewhere else. So now, Tariqat is concentrating on that. The most important organ, and getting rid of all the impurities. And to do that, you need a doctor of the heart, the Tabibul Qulub. That's what the sheikhs are. Because heart surgery, it is a very delicate thing. You think a man standing there with a knife and he cuts open and he does something. You try to do it to yourself, you'll kill yourself. It is not that easy. So, why are you not putting it? What's the matter with you? You have something against it? Huh? Hasbunallah ni'mal wakeel. Insisting. Like that. The shaitan is still making, the nafs is still making, repeatedly, openly, but something is there. It's blocking from that from coming through. Person must wake up. Person must be in an environment where that is always prodded to say, wake up, don't do this. This is not something through just reading or thinking by yourself. You have to be in association. Because if fixing these small things, other big things start to work. Sometimes the whole machinery is stuck because of small mistake that is in the engine, that is in the machine. You have to get rid of that. The rust. The machine is good, it's just rusty. Get rid of it. Wake up. So it has to do with the heart again. And there is no guarantee that just because you are praying, you are doing all these things, there is no guarantee that the heart is good. You understand? So now you have to go back to the beginning again. And in the Naqshbandi way, it's concentrating on that. It's concentrating on the ego. The ego, there is the thickest veil between you and opening your way to find it back to your Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, don't be sad, because what is causing people now to be cruel and to be bad? It is the ego, the biggest enemy. The ego that is friends with shaitan. So if you are not concentrating on the ego, you are friends with shaitan. That time, like I said, you can be praying whole day, whole night, but you're still friends with shaitan, and you're going to do what shaitan is saying. Just like those ones who are supporting Yazid, and they were hunting down and killing the Ahlul Bayt in the Battle of Karbala. And they were saying, quickly we have to finish them off, otherwise we're going to miss Zuhr. They were praying. They were fasting. They were doing everything. So it is not these actions now. If your heart is still dirty, go to clean it. Find a doctor to clean it. Sit. And yes, sometimes it's going to be difficult, definitely. Sometimes it's going to be painful, definitely. If it's not going to be difficult and painful, that doctor is just giving you candy, you may get even more sick. You understand? Inshallah. This cruelty, this evil is happening because of the ego, and the ego is the greatest enemy. The ego is the most evil creature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ever created. That our Shah, his Grand Shah, has said, if we are able to see our ego just for a split second, we'll fall down and die. If we're able to smell our ego for a split second, we will die, because it is such an evil entity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. But He has given us a spirit that if we're able to put the spirit on top of the ego now, because of so much power that it has, it will make you to rise to higher stations. It is not to destroy, to annihilate your ego. No. It is to make your ego to be able to push you up when you step on it. And for that, you need to be in a system that is 1400 years old and older than that is called tariqat. And the one tariqat that is concentrating on that is the Naqshbandi tariqat. We are following that, alhamdulillah, in the Osmanli Naqshbandi way through our Sahibul Saif. We're continuing that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What is the importance of marriage if two persons tries to follow the way of Islam? What if these two persons cannot feel close to Allah, cannot feel the oneness when they are together because of being in different frequencies? What should they do?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Marriage is very important in Islam. Marriage is what? Prophet ﷺ said, it is what? Half of your faith. If you're not married, you only have half. There is no celibacy in Islam. No monkery in Islam. Monkery in Islam. Okay? That they are, mashallah, they are so celibate. So clean, so celibate. Everything there. It is important because we are humans too. And once you are married now, you will start to understand and carry the burden more of being a human. If you're not married, you're so free, right? Huh? You're so free. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Once you're married, you're carrying the burden now. For the men, it is the burden of what? Of a family that is like a country. Now you have to take care. Now you have responsibility. For the woman now, you have the burden of what? Of quote-unquote creation. Allah given the secret of creation in you. Now it's not just to give birth, it is to raise them, our children. So now the man goes to higher stations as a human being, not just stuck at bachelorhood. He enters into several other stations to understand what it is to be a man, to be a human, entering into fatherhood, all of that. And the woman too, entering into this stage where the things that are happening to you must increase your faith. Things that are happening to you must increase your faith. So these two things, these two people, marriage must happen. Inshallah, everyone will get married. So, as you're saying, if two people try to follow the way of Islam, but they cannot feel close to Allah. Meaning, if two people, they cannot get along together. What should you do? Get along with Allah first. Okay? Don't try to get along with each other. Get along with Allah first. And fulfill your responsibilities. You must first do that. Then later other things will start to change, to shift, because your primary responsibility is to Allah and His Prophet ﷺ. But in these days, so many marriages end in divorce. Why? Because people have different ideas about what marriage is. Number one, especially in the West, marriage is fairy tale. Wedding fairy tale, and you want the rest of your life to be like that fairy tale. Wonderful honeymoon, so when reality sinks in a little bit, they leave. It's all love. It's all a high. Once that high is gone, you say, I don't want this. This is not real, you're saying, thinking that the high is real. So they divorce, go to another high, finish, and go to another high. It's an addiction now. You're not dealing with that reality. So the whole idea of marriage has to first change. Marriage in Islam, like I said, it is half of your faith. Marriage must increase your faith. You can increase your faith, you can complete your faith marriage. It doesn't mean that everything has to be great for that faith to increase. So many times, the marriage, if it's not so good, that increases your faith. If things cannot work out so well, that increases your faith, because now you're relying on Allah more than each other. Because people now, once they fall in love, they marry each other, they start what? Worshipping each other. Isn't it? But we are not objects of worship. We are not ilah. So definitely we're going to disappoint each other one day. And so now then you have to understand what is the responsibility according to Allah and His Prophet. What are the responsibilities of a husband and what are the responsibilities of a wife? According to Allah and His Prophet. Not according to talk shows or books, right? Or magazines or songs. You understand? According to Allah and His Prophet. And we have 1400 years of history to show how a marriage in Islam should be. Some things will be against your ego. Yes, of course. What? We're here to please our ego. If you understand that, what a husband must do, what a wife must do, and you're going to try to be busy doing that, then that time you'll fall under the same frequency. You will, you must. But the most important thing, especially in these days, is to find a sheikh. Because you think that you have the same frequency, but if there is no sheikh, if there is no leader there, if there is no doctor there, then it's very difficult for people in these days, because everything is against this holy institution of marriage, and so many difficulties may come, and it's only a matter of time that they start to split, because the sheikh is there as a cement. Both of them, they follow somebody that they can go to ask for advice and everything, and the sheikh will be there to put certain boundaries to each other, to respect each other, so that they can stay in the marriage. Sometimes it's impossible, sometimes it's very difficult. People, they want to leave. Then that's a different story. But at least when the sheikh is there, the thing is to bring them together. All of the problems so many times is not real, is not important. It's not important. And you need someone with authority and someone with wisdom to be able to point it out and to bring them together. So, yes, the sheikh is there for so many reasons. Inshallah, may it be easy. Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I find hard to keep my intention still when I start doing a certain plan. Suddenly I find that the tools are becoming my aims. After a time I remind my intention to myself, but along the way I lose it. What do you advise?
Remind yourself again. Remind yourself again and again and again. And be around a Jamaat that is going to remind you. Don't be alone. In these days, these are very heavy days. If you're out from the flock, the wolves, they're going to get you. And in these days, for so many years now, they teach people to be individualistic, to be alienated, to be alone, not to be in a Jamaat, not to be in a flock. They say flock means you're stupid. Flock means you have herd mentality. Flock means you have no mind. Everywhere, from TV to everything, is saying to you, don't be. You are individual. You know nothing. You have to be in a Jamaat. Once you're in a Jamaat, you're in an association, you pull yourself away, there are others who prop you back. You push forward a little bit, there are others from in front who's going to straighten you up. So there are always reminders there. So that's the time now to get yourself out from your head, because this is a very head question also. You have an intention, you want to do a plan, but after a while, you lose your intentions and you're just trying to so much keep your intention that it's not about the intention, it's about keeping the intention. That's the time you say, okay, forget about it. Let's do something else. You understand? Because now your ego is making you to chase your own tail. Chasing, that's the time to say, you know what, stop. Let's do something else. You're able to do that if you're in a dargah. You're able to do that if you come to a dargah once in a while. You're able to do that if you are with a jamaat. You're able to do that when you're in connection with the jamaat. Because so many times too, questions that we have, it seems so important to us, but later, 1 year later, we realize that question was so silly, it wasn't important. But at that moment, it becomes really crucial. What is making us to think that it's really crucial? It is the ego. The ego is always saying, what? Now is the only time, is the be-all, the end-all. It is the most important thing. It's not looking to the future. So, be with people who are going to remind you. Be with the Ahli Zikr. Inshallah. May it be easy for you. Assalamu alaikum. Tamam. Bashka. You have drinks? Drink. Afiyat olsun. May it be easy, inshallah. If there's anything useful that is coming from our share, take it. Put it in your lives. You'll win for yourself. May Allah forgive me and bless you. Al-Fatiha. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum. I'll see you later. Have a good night.